Brightside Ben team right off the website. Click on the Join the Team link, or you can call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Our number today is 844-236-6010. If you've got questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, if you've got a health challenge you want help with, we're here for you. We can help you change your life today, help you change the lives of a loved one or friend or family member today as well. 844-236-6010. We'll get your calls here just momentarily. A couple things I want to say, actually lots I want to say about the skin. Skin suffers from this human tendency to judge by appearances. And the skin, for all appearances, is just a covering. Just like a sheet that covers the insides. This is what Helena Rubinstein thought. It's kind of surprises me. Most people have not heard of Helena Rubinstein. At least when I ask or I do my talks, I ask the audience, hey, have you ever heard of Helena Rubinstein? People haven't heard of it, and I'm heard of her, and I'm continuously surprised by that. She's considered the mother or the grandmother of the modern skincare world. She came over here from Russia in the 1920s or 1910 or somewhere in the beginning of the 20th century. And she decided to revolutionize how women took care of their skin. Women before Helena Rubinstein didn't really do anything for their skin. But right around the early 20th century, movie stars were becoming popular. The movie industry was becoming popular. And there was all this discretionary, a relative amount of discretionary income that hadn't been around for a long time. And there was the Industrial Revolution had created all of the surplus factory kinds of surplus machinery. And there was a need to create a desire for people to buy products. For the first time, we had more money and more people than we had, and more products than we had drives to buy products. So people had to be induced to buy products. Skincare was one of those products that they were induced to buy. How were they induced to buy? From marketing. The problem was, in 1910 and 1920, we didn't really know what the skin was. It just looked like a covering on the outside of the body. But you know what? The skin's not a covering on the outside of the body. It's a fully fledged member of the organ family. It's an organ. And we all say that, but we never treat the skin as if it were an organ. It's filled with substructures. It's filled with cells and tissues and nutrients. It's electromagnetic. Yes, the skin is an electromagnetic system. It stores information like a computer. The skin stores information like a computer. That's so cool. It's actually like an appendage of the brain. Do you know the skin is an appendage of the brain? Most of the skin is composed of something called the extracellular matrix. That's the stuff outside the cells. Now, I'm always saying this, the body's made up of cells and stuff. Well, skin likewise is cells and stuff. It's a microcosm. Not only is the skin an organ, it's a microcosm of how the body is built. The entire body is composed of three main compartments. The whole body is just made up of three compartments. I call beef, electricity, and coating. Those are the three main compartments of the body. In biology, they call them tissues. That's the fancy way of saying stuff, tissues. There's three kinds of tissues, three kinds of stuff. You get the beef, the electricity, and the coating. Beef tissue, electricity tissue, and coating tissue. Coating, by the way, includes the accessories, which are like your eyes and your thyroid and the various glands. That's all part of the coating aspect of the body. Technically, they call it epithelia. That's the coating. Maybe 10%, 15% of the body is coating. Glands, eyes, covering. That's the epithelia. Then there's the electricity component. That's the nervous system, the neural tissue, nerve tissue. That's a tiny fraction, 2%, 1%, very small amount. The rest of the body is the beef. The vast majority of the body is beef. 80 to 90% of the body is beef, or steak. Just like beef steak. That's mostly us, except we don't call it beef. We call it connective tissue and muscle tissue, and to be actually technically proper, those are two separate types of tissue. But from a practical standpoint, they're wrapped around each other, and so I just call them beef. 80 to 90% of the body is beef, maybe 10% or so is the covering, and then maybe 2 or 3% is the electricity. That's it. That's our bodies. Beef, electricity, and covering. And the same three-part system is true of the skin. You've got the nerve tissue, neural tissue, the electricity in the skin. Very tiny amount, 1-2% kind of thing. Then you got the covering, which is about as thin as a piece of paper, covers the entire body. That's called the epithelia, or if you're referring to the skin, the epidermis. And then you got the beef, and that's the bulk of your skin. the beef. If you look at your baby's skin, or a 1-year-old or 2-year-old or a child's skin, it's kind of beefy. It's bouncy. It's robust. It's thick. You look at grandma's skin, not so much. What's the difference? Beef. Not covering, not neural tissue, beef. Grandma's got less beef than your baby does. And that means that if we got aging skin, for the most part anyway, we got a beef issue. We got a thickness issue. It's in the beef. Why is that important? Because most of our products address the coating. Right. You put your skincare product on, you're putting it on the covering, not the beef. The problem's in the beef. Now, there's a couple things, and we've talked about them. A couple of ingredients that you could use to beef up your skin. If you're getting wrinkles or fine lines, your skin's starting to get thin, it's not a covering issue. But because appearances are deceiving, we look at the skin, it looks like it's just one thing. It's not one thing. It's a covering, it's electricity, and it's beef. 90% of the skin is beef. And that's where most skin problems are. And if you're using a skincare product and try to address wrinkles or the signs of aging, you better make sure it's got the ingredients to get into the beef. We talked about vitamin A. That's one of the most important of the beef building, dermis building, skin building ingredients. It may be the most important. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'll say it is the most important. But it's tricky, as we've been talking about. That's why you want to look for retinol, and you want to look for high percentage of retinol. Acne, which we've been talking about, is not a beef problem unless it gets really severe, and then it's a beef problem. But for the most part, it's a coating problem. It's a covering problem. The cells that make up the coating are not dividing correctly. They're not growing correctly. Oil, which is located in the coating, is being secreted in an abundant or in an excessive fashion. And it doesn't have the right constituency because of the wrong diet, because we're not eating correctly. Now, if you got serious acne, severe acne, which happens, that could be a beef problem. That's called systemic acne or cystic acne. Systemic acne, cystic acne, now you're in the beef. And it's very frustrating to deal with because acne remedies do their business in the coating. So if you're using your typical acne product and you have a beef acne issue, or cystic acne it's called, you're not going to get anywhere. But because appearances are deceiving, we don't make that connection. We think we could just rub something on the coating and get a beef effect. So many people get these boils or cysts for acne and they rub something on the top. That's not going to help because the problem's in the beef, not in the coating. So your body and the skin are basically made up of beef, nerves, and covering. The beef is connective tissue, muscle tissue, together, connective muscle tissue. The nerves are nerve tissue or neural tissue. The covering is epithelial tissue. And understanding this distinction is very important if we want to build the body up and if we want to build the skin up, and conversely, not understanding this distinction between the three compartments can be the source of a lot of confusion, especially when it comes to the skin. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. 844-236-6010 is our number. Hang tight. We'll get your calls here when we come back from our break. Got more good health information for you. Don't go away.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Heart and Body Extract continues to receive positive testimonials from people who have experienced amazing results, like Reed.
I just wanted to send you a quick but a very big thank you for Heart and Body Extract. I've been on the formula for nearly a month now, and the improvement in the circulation of my legs has been simply amazing.
Reed was facing a tough choice.
I was facing surgery due to the severity of the 100% blocked arteries in both my legs. And my decision, waiting for surgery, to say no and try Heart and Body Extract instead, has been thankfully the right decision.
And the result?
I can now walk up steps without noticeable pain.
Order Heart and Body Extract at 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305, or hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract for a long and healthy life.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 877-345-7645. That's 877-345-7645. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately at 1-877-345-7645. That's 1-877-345-7645. 1-877-345-7645.
Independently leading the way for the nation. Compelling talk for every political persuasion. We are GCN.
Okay, we are back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thank you for being here, friends. We'll get your calls here in just a sec. 844-236-6010 is our number. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about the skin and the various compartments of the skin, specifically the dermis, D-E-R-M-I-S, dermis, where the connective tissue, the collagen, and all the good stuff is, and as distinguished from the covering, the surface of the skin. This is where pigmentation, dark spots, take place. Dark spots are in the covering, acne is in the covering, dry skin is for the most part in the covering, and then aging, the signs of aging, the thinning and the wrinkles and the fine lines, those are in the dermis, the lower levels. If you have issues in the dermis, if your skin is getting thinner, if you have the fine lines and wrinkles that everybody hates, you have a dermis problem, not a covering problem. Where do your skincare products work for the most part? Even if it's Cindy Crawford and the famous doctor with the melon extract, guess where his products are working? It ain't the dermis, it's the covering, if that. In fact, this is as crazy as it is that we have a covering that we're addressing when we have a beef problem, it's even crazier because the very tippy top of the covering is dead tissue. The skin is unique in the body in that it exploits or leverages dead tissue. The surface of the skin is made up of hard protein, dead stuff, not living stuff like fingernail-like material. And that's where Cindy Crawford or anybody else's skincare products work for the most part, is on that surface, tippy top surface, the dead stuff.